The CMAC Foundation in honor of Chase Michael Anthony Kowalski, who died in the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting when he was only 7 years old. Chase loved all sports, had a real competitive spirit, and his parents wanted to capture that competitive spirit by forming a charity that really helped in the health and wellness of children. So they created a program called the Race for Chase Kids Triathlon. It trains kids in swimming, running, biking, weight training, health and wellness. And it started off as about 90 kids from the Sandy Hook area, but now it includes over 650 participants from the 3-state area. So they're really making a difference. And this program is free. So they've started a wonderful charity in his honor.
Meredith?
So just looking back to yesterday a little bit, have there been any more discussions on Masahiro Tanaka?
Yeah, you know, as we continue to try to find out why there's inconsistencies in this stuff, I mean, there's discussions about that. We talk about it. Larry and I talked about it, and you know, we'll continue to try to get him back to where he was. That's what we're trying to do.
No plan at this time, though, to not start him as next designated.
No.
Dan?
I know, I think Jacoby's talking now, but do you have an update on him and his status?
Yeah, you know, it's still somewhat, you know, the best way to put it is day to day. You know, until we get completely rid of the headaches. And the headaches have been gone at times, but it seems like when we start some activity, they come back. So I think he has started riding the bike lightly again, and we'll see how he does with that. But it's just really hard to predict.
Andrew? Then Wally.
Joe, you said you've been talking about things. What are the other options besides just starting him on Sunday?
Well, I mean, you know, we really haven't changed anything. You know, as I've talked about, you know, I'm always asked about the health question. I mean, he still comes in and he says he feels good. So, you know, as I said yesterday, you know, he had the good start against Oakland. We felt good about that, and we thought we were on the right track. And then he had the bad start against Baltimore, so we went back to work. Had a tough start against Boston. Back to work.
Wally?
Joe, you know, you just answered the health question for the 3,000th time probably. I know you think he's healthy, and you say the guy doesn't forget how to pitch overnight. So what's the third answer? If it's not health and it's not forgetting how to pitch, what is it?
Well, I mean, there's things that go on sometimes, Wally, where, you know, it could be a swing or it could be fielding, and mechanically they're a little bit off. And those are things that we work on. The exact mechanics are not my forte, but, you know, what we're seeing is it's not consistent. And we look at video of 2014, 15, 16. We go through all those videos and try to see little differences. And sometimes they're really minor, and you try to correct them.
Well, how unusual is it for, you know, a pitching coach as accomplished as Larry and a professional athlete like Tanaka to take this long to figure out if it's just a minor mechanical thing?
You know, sometimes, you know, he's changed too. I mean, this is a guy that's changed, you know, from 2014 to 15, 16, developed a sinker, started throwing more of a sinker, more than his four-seamer and those sort of things. And it's not that, you know, from a sense that when he throws a pitch that gets hit, Larry doesn't see what's happening. It's just him getting to consistently repeat it. That's the bottom line. Larry knows what's going on, but it's getting him to consistently repeat it.
Joe on the far right, Justin.
CeCe's played the role of stopper at various points in his career. He's doing a nice job pitching in games after losses this season when the team needs a lift. What do you think separates those types of pitchers when the team needs that?
The competitive spirit inside of CeCe. You know, and CeCe's really had good stuff over his career, and he has been a stopper and been an ace. But, you know, I always talk about the competitive fire that burns in CeCe. It's special, and he really has it.
Center aisle, Laura.
Joe, it's always exciting for the fans when the Red Sox and the Yankees play, but when you're both at the top of the standings like this, you know, it hasn't been this way necessarily the last few years. Do you feel an extra excitement when these two teams meet now?
Oh, I think so. You know, and I think a lot of times, You notice it, the noise in the stadium, but you also notice it when you go out. If you go out and get a cup of coffee, someone's going to say something to you, so you definitely notice it.
Mike in the front.
Joe, with Tanaka, was there any consideration given to maybe pushing him back a day, letting him pitch against Anaheim without Trout? He got pretty crushed by the Orioles at Camden Yards last start.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things that we talk about. I'm not ready to share anything with you yet, So that's the bottom line. Let's just put it that way.
Neftali in the front.
So you can ask again, Wally. I'm not sharing anything.
With Bird, Joe, is he going to play?
I don't know.
Scranton?
Did he play yesterday? Did Tampa
Yeah.
play? I have not seen.
Yeah, he did.
And what did he do?
I think he went 1 for the double.
Okay, I think he's traveling to Scranton, and he's playing in Lehigh Valley tomorrow.
Okay. Neftali in the front.
Going back with Tanaka, what the pitches you see have less consistency in the slider or in the sink?
Split in the slider.
Please in the light.
Yes.
What about Roldy Chapman? When you think he's going to be back, enjoy the thing again?
Who?
Chapman? Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to throw a simulated game sometime at the end of the week here. I'm not sure if it's Friday or Saturday. Forgive me. I'm down in Tampa. There was original discussion of him throwing it here, and I don't think he'd get a whole lot of volunteers for hitters. So we changed our plans there, and rightfully so. So have a couple outings, and then maybe we get him back.
Dan again in the second row.
After the game last night, Tanaka admitted that he was kind of pressing, and he thought that might have impacted how he pitched last night. How do you deal with that and get a guy to stop pressing, I guess, especially as one as
Well, I'm sure that's a question that every coach, manager, parent would love to have. How do you get a person to stop pressing? The only way that I ever felt like I could just go out and play is if I felt like I was prepared and did all the work that I could possibly do before a game, and that's what he'll do. And, eventually you have to have some results. I get that. You have to have some success because that allows you to relax a little bit more. So we got to get through where he has some success. Last night he gives up the run in the first. He gives up a, line drive to Betts, and then he gives up a ground ball that Didi didn't pick up off the bat. Sometimes the white and things get you, and it led to a run. And possibly he gets out of that inning if we go home. And maybe it's a different story. But we got to get him to have some success.
Is it concerning, though, given his background and how accomplished he is, to hear him admit something like that, though?
I think it's human nature. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, any of us who go through what he's went through is probably going to, be frustrated, have a little doubt, and that's human nature. But you're a professional athlete. You got to get back up, you got to fight, and you got to get through it.
Wally again in the front.
Joe, I understand you're not sharing, but I'm going to keep trying on Tanaka. First of all, things have gone very well for your team so far this year. Would you agree that getting Tanaka straightened out is the most important or pressing problem that you have right now?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. And the other thing is you said he's changed somewhat since 2014. Is that as a result of the elbow injury?
No, I think some of it had to do with, what he felt like there was too much solid contact against his fastball, and he wanted to get a little bit more movement. So he started throwing some more sinkers.
Okay. Pete in the front.
Joe, is moving Sanchez down the order, is that a temporary thing, or is it something you'd like to see right now?
It's something I'm going to go with. It's really hard to ignore what Aaron Hicks has done. And you probably have your three top on-base guys at the top of the lineup. I had two of the three. But I just decided we decided it's probably best to not ignore what Hicksy's doing, put him up there, put Sanchez maybe in more of a traditional RBI spot and see if it gets him going.
Last one, Dan.
So I know Tanaka's scheduled to start on Sunday. Is that still up for debate?
We're still on rotation right now.